So how's it going, my comic channel? We're here today with Wes Allard, the creator of Luchadors and Ragnar, right? Or Ragnarok? You're right.
I'm not necessarily the creator of Ragnar, but I definitely help write it, and I definitely help with all the character creation and stuff like that. So I'm not the sole creator on that one. No. But Luchador, yep, that's me, and I will take co-creator credit on, co-scripter credit on Ragnar. That's for sure.
Okay. When can we expect another issue or issue 2?
So Luchador is already in process right now. I've got, I think August just sent me another page of pencils the other day. So I think we're on the last couple pages of pencils for Luchador Chapter 2, and that's going to be another 45-page story comic. And we're going to stick with that amount for each issue. And then actually we're also in the process of another Ragnar comic right now. And that we're hoping to have one of those ready, I think, in November. And we also have another standalone story of King Jaguar fighting the Yakuza in Japan, shooting for November as well. That one's called Tokyo Jaguar.
Nice. Do you kickstart these or do you fund them yourself?
So mostly we do funding ourselves, but we have done a few Kickstarters. Like we did a Kickstarter for the Ragnar toy. Initially, we did a Kickstarter for Luchador, but during the process of the Kickstarter, we ran into some challenges that was going to make it so that we couldn't quite deliver the Kickstarter that we wanted to, so we had to cancel that, and we just ended up self-funding that one. But we are considering doing a Kickstarter for issue 2. We just haven't quite.
All right. And you've got, I guess you could say, action figures, right? Do you make them yourself, or do you?
Well, yeah. So Last Bastion Studios, which is what it's the the indie comic and toy company that my business partner Chris Hilseth and I, the creator of Ragnar, that's what we came together and we formed, and we make soft vinyl toys and we do comics and pins and t-shirts and all kinds of other fun stuff. But yeah, we fully developed and 3D sculpted and created all of that stuff. We've got a King Jaguar figure that we are going to release hopefully by November. So yeah, there'll be a lot more news coming up about all these various things. So I highly encourage anybody who's interested in any of that stuff to check out our Instagrams, our websites, and stuff like that. We've got all kinds of neat information and events and all kinds of things coming up.
What's the name of the website?
It's lastbastionstudio.com.
Right. So what got you into making comics?
Well, let's see. I mean, I'm a nerdy little kid who read a lot, who was also, I don't know, comics were sort of my escape from the daily realities of life, and they were exciting and neat and interesting as a kid, and I like to draw a lot, and so that's what got me into comics, and wanting to make them was just a byproduct of being really into comics when I was a young kid. And so at one point I sort of forgot that that was even a possibility, and I don't know, a few years ago I decided that I can probably do it, and have been ever since.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen on your Facebook and Instagram, you're a certified badass. Like you got like a bunch of karate belts. I don't know what the colors mean, but.
So I'm a 2nd degree black belt in judo. I'm also a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I can handle myself. just about anywhere. I did a lot of competition, and I've definitely done a lot of teaching and stuff like that. I'm more a lover, not a fighter, though. So.
So how do you become a second-degree black belt? How does that work?
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of competition. At least for me, it was. You know, I started. I mean, I wrestled in high school and stuff like that, and I was always looking for something to do, you know, after that and continue with it, because I didn't really want to, you know, I didn't want to get out of shape, and I didn't want to stop wrestling in some way, shape, or form. And I found my way to judo, and I loved it, and, you know, kept pursuing it, and wanted to become a black belt. And in the process of wanting to become a black belt, the more you're there, you understand terms, you understand the moves, you start learning it on different levels, and when you compete, you really get to put it in action and see what it's like to try and throw somebody to the ground or accomplish one of these things. So yeah, it's a lot of that. And then there's also giving back to the martial arts community that helps you get those ranks as well. And that involves a lot of teaching, and that involves just a lot of time, you know, helping out at tournaments and things like that.
Would you recommend it to anyone?
I would absolutely recommend any kind of martial arts to anyone at any time, okay. For sure. I think it's one of the things that's gotten me through many different things in life. And it's not just physical confrontations. People sort of see martial arts and they think, oh, like, I'm going to be a badass. I can fight. I can beat people up. I can do this. I can do that. One of the things I have to tell you is the better you get at it, the more you learn just what you can do, and you're way more reluctant, and you're way less likely to get into fights and everything like that. But yeah, the main thing I would say that I got out of it was a confidence and an understanding and a knowing that if I set my mind to a goal and I keep working at that goal, I can achieve it, you know. And it changed everything for me, and it also gave me a different outlook on life. And you know, like, I don't get intimidated in the workplace, because it's like, man, I've been hit in the face. Like, what are you yelling at me? I'm like, okay, whatever.
Right. So comics is your, I guess, your side hustle? You have a full day job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, everybody's got to pay the bills, you know, and indie comics, as much as we would like it to be a gold mine, it's not exactly a gold mine. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hustle. And, you know, I love it. I do that out of passion that I have for it, you know, and I am thankful that, you know, I'm doing okay enough to keep doing it. But yeah, my day job, it's you know, it's a thing I do to fund the stuff I love. And I think that there are a lot of people out there who kind of do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Does your day job know that you make comics on the side? Or you kind of keep the two separate?
No, they know. They know. I actually give copies of my comics to my boss and a couple other people. But yeah, they know. They all think it's really cool, and some support when they can, and that's always a nice thing to have happen, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Comic-Cons, where are you going to pop up next?
Ooh, so next one I have is actually this coming Sunday. This next Sunday is called Robo Toy Fest in Pasadena. Then after that, I'll be in Phoenix for the Phoenix Fan Fusion. And then after that, I will be at Monster Palooza in Pasadena as well. We're going to be at Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, Rose City Comic Con in Portland, and amazing Comic-Con in Las Vegas and Designer Con in Anaheim. So we're going to be all over, and we even have a show calendar on our website, which is lastbastionstudio.com. And you guys can follow up with us and see where we're at. And if we're in your area, I would love it if people would come out and say hi.
Do you only stay in your area, or how far do you travel outside?
No, I mean, we're based in Los Angeles, and we're going to be in Portland, Seattle, Las Vegas, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, Chicago for G-Fest. So it just depends on what conventions we get into and all that. But oh yeah, I'm totally willing to travel and love traveling and meeting new people and handing out stuff and showing what we got.
Got to come down here to Florida. We got a big, I think it's MegaCon is our big one.
Yeah, I have a strategy. We have a strategy kind of with how we're doing our conventions. We're like slowly making our way east, and so I think next year we're gonna try and make it to 5 Points. We're gonna try and make it to, I believe, Heroes Con out in is it North Carolina or South Carolina?
I think it's North Carolina.
It's one of the Carolinas for sure. And New York Comic Con, and yeah, I will definitely look into MegaCon and see if I can get in there as well.
What advice would you have for newcomers that want to get into comic books?
The biggest piece of advice I would say is be patient and believe in yourself. That's number one. It's not going to happen overnight. Whatever your dream is, whatever your comic book dream is, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen with your first issue. It's probably not going to happen with your first graphic novel. Be patient. You just doing something, you just finishing one is an accomplishment and something to cheer yourself over. Don't sweat the sales. Like, the sales are going to mess you up and drive the joy out of doing it from you. And so be patient, believe in yourself, and know that the very first comic that you do make is an accomplishment and something to be praised.
Mm-hmm. Publishers, have you shopped your book around to different publishers?
Yeah, so I've definitely talked to different publishers, and there's there's definitely interest there, and there are people who know what I'm up to and think it's very impressive. It's not anything I'm quite ready to do yet. I'm not quite ready to step into that into those deals yet. I got to make sure that everything works out best for me and works out best for them. So, but it's not something I'm close to. In the meantime, I don't mind publishing it myself and getting on the road myself and walking into every comic shop that will have me and dropping off copies and figuring out a way to, check in and make it work. So,
how many comic shops are you in right now?
Currently, Luchador is in 5 different comic shops. We've got toys in like 2 or 3 shops. And I'm in talks with a number of other shops to try and get into those as well. So
okay. How do you get into shops? You just call them up and tell them, "Hey, this is my comic"?
I actually like going in person and walking up and talking to the store owner. And I mean, the very first thing I do is I always scout out different shops, because, as you know, not all comic shops are the same, right? There are some comic shops out there that only sell back issues. There are some comic shops out there that will only sell Marvel and DC and maybe Image, but there are a lot of other shops that are very open to having like a robust and nice indie creator shelf, or just having a wide variety and everything. And so I always scout out a shop first, and then I go in and I ask to speak to anybody who can take my comic and have a little chat with them. And then personally, I like to, whenever I go, it's always going to happen. If I go into a comic shop, I'm leaving with something, you know. So
yeah, yeah.
So and that's usually how it works. Sometimes it's a consignment deal. Sometimes they're willing to buy it outright. Sometimes, you know, they want to know some plans for, you know, next issues or what have you. And yeah, it's like I said, be confident, man. Stride in there. Can't hurt to ask if that can happen. It either ends up on a shelf or you still got another copy.
Yeah, I agree. How many issues do you have planned for Luchador?
So I've got 3 volumes planned for Luchador. Volume 1 is going to be 8 issues. And like I said, each issue is about 40 something pages. There's some standalone stories in there, like the Tokyo Jaguar story that I'm currently working on with another artist. That one is about 86 pages. It's just a standalone 86-page story. And Ragnar is many issues, multiple volumes. That's a really long-term one where I don't even know what the end total issue count will be.
Okay. Dead or alive, who would you like to work with to make a comic?
Oh man, that's well, Frank Frazetta. Like
okay.
Let's say Frank Frazetta, number 1. So that would be like a dream list of artists, man. Oh, dude, I've always loved Jay Lee's art when I was young. So like I'm a kid of the 90s, you know. So
yeah.
You know, I mean, who wouldn't want Jim Lee to draw their book? Like,
yeah.
want, you know, Frank Miller doing something. I really dig John Romita Jr. I love John Romita Jr.'s art. I'd love for him to do anything that I did. Brian Hitch, you know, John Cassidy, some of those guys.
All right, Wes, I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with me today. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for reading our books, and thanks for having this chat with me and all of that. I really appreciate you having me on. And everybody, if you have any interest whatsoever, you can read Luchador Chapter 1 for free on our site. That's lastbastionstudio.com. And you can pick up copies there, T-shirts, toys, all that.
All right. Thank you, Wes.
Thanks, Cody.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comicchatauthority? Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.